Hello, and welcome to Burning Cinema, a nostalgic look back and review of films gone by. I'm your host Ross, and joining me is my good friend and co-host Tom, and together we'll be dissecting and exploring the world of cinema and what it has to offer. So Tom, tell the good listeners, what is it we do here at Burning Cinema, and how does it all work?
So how this works is each episode, one of us will assign the other one a film to watch. In the following episode, we'll discuss our thoughts, feelings of the chosen film, and see if we actually even liked it.
So, last episode, as you may remember, if you have been tuning in, I set Tom to watch War of the Worlds, the 2005 remake I did. And so, this time round, we're keeping it still the end of the world. And, Tom, what did you set for me to watch?
So, this episode, I decided we should step away from aliens ending the world and have a little bit of a different sort of disaster. And so, as a result, we're going to go for Roland Emmerich's 2004 disaster movie. Obviously, this is sort of his speciality, disasters. And we're going with The Day After Tomorrow.
The government has to start making long-term preparations now.
Jack, all you have is a theory.
It's been raining like this for 3 days now.
Mr. Vice President, if we don't act now, it's going to be too late.
I'm afraid that time has come and gone, my friend.
What can we do?
Save as many as you can.
The storm is just going to get worse.
What should we do?
I will come for you. Do you understand me?
So The Day After Tomorrow was released in the US on the 28th of May, 2004. And then it was released on the 26th of May, so actually a little bit earlier, the same year, for the UK. But obviously I set you the task of watching this, so tell us, and tell everyone, what was the film about?
So we've got Dennis Quaid, and he's a scientist, and he's some sort of scientist who collects ice in the Arctic, and he realises that there is trouble brewing. There is climate change is changing. There's a big cataclysmic snowstorm coming its way. We can't stop it. It's going to happen. He's trying to stop it. He's trying to speak to the head honchos of the world, hasn't he? The president and everyone. They're not listening. They don't want to know. It's going to cost too much money. Meanwhile, his son is gone to New York City, so he's over there, and the family is separated. And basically, it snows a lot. Classic Roland Emmerich, like kind of different scenes, different things. We get tornadoes, we get all sorts of stuff, all sorts of weather events. And with that, we get the side plot of Dennis Quaid going to get his son. And he goes and gets his son. Spoiler alert, the weather calms down.
The enthusiastic review of the basic
I
plot
think you
line
know
there.
where this is going, Tom.
Viewers may be getting a slight hint that we may actually have slightly different opinions on this
I
film.
think this might be going. This is the first time in our history that we
Very short
we
history.
where we're going to our short history that we are going to probably go separate ways on this. But still,
We'll dig into it, and I'll start
Yeah.
with a couple of little facts I did find out about it. There is a scene in the film where, almost like a very political point, where US citizens are illegally crossing into Mexico. To film that, they actually just had extras running across the Rio Grande River into Mexico.
brilliant. So it was
Genuine people running across the river into Mexico.
Did they get captured at the end on the other side, and then were
They didn't say.
illegal immigrants? And then what happened? I mean, that's a strong day for an extra, isn't it?
Hello, welcome to the set. You now have to be an illegal immigrant into Mexico.
No, you
Run.
literally have to. You literally have to
You are
go
running.
into another country uninvited.
It's a fun way of doing it, probably unsurprisingly. A lot of scientific criticism of the film. The scientists were invited, including those from NASA, for example, to sort of come and preview the film, and they were dismissive of its scientific accuracy, saying the events were far more rapid in the film than they would be in real life. Whilst obviously it could potentially happen in real life, it would not happen as rapidly as it did. I think it was over like a few days, essentially, it was portrayed as.
The day after tomorrow, that's a weekend, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Very
A
rapid.
3-day bank holiday. Who knows?
But they did respect the entertainment value. Let's get into this, shall we?
Yeah. Should we deep dive now?
We'll deep dive.
Yeah, let's go. So, a travelling shot, didn't we, going across the Arctic?
It's quite a nice piece. The score, I really liked. The opening score, as we travel over Antarctica, I thought was actually really quite lovely. I really liked the subtleness of the score. It was a powerful tune, though. And we do meet the scientist. I think the climatologist is probably the correct way of addressing them.
Dennis Quaid he's wrapped up, isn't he? Nice and warm in his big yellow overalls, isn't he? And hoodie with his couple of mates. He's got a little team, and they're drilling ice cylinder type things, samples, aren't they?
Ice core samples, essentially, is what they're collecting there, and they must be pretty damn important because, I mean, immediately I have an issue as well.
Do you have an issue with it?
I have an issue in the sense that. So basically, the ice cracks. Yeah. The ice shelf is breaking away. So that does happen. We see it a lot these days in real life. However, the ice cores end up on one side of the ice crack, and the people are on the other side. So you got Jack, Dennis Quaid, and you've got his two mates, Jason, played by Dash Mihawk, and Frank, J.O. Sanders. And for reasons unknown, I mean, scientists can be committed, but this is probably overdoing it. Dennis Quaid decides he's going to jump across the ice crack to collect these ice core samples, which are probably quite heavy.
He has made a leap of faith, doesn't he? And then he decides,
with the ice crack getting bigger, he's going to make the jump back with these heavy... And in fact, he does make it. Yeah. Olympic-level jumping, and then the ice gives way underneath him and he falls. And you think, oh, well, that was a brief cameo from Dennis Quaid. And somehow, whilst falling, he's managed to hand over these ice core samples and pull out his ice axe from his belt and hook it into the ice shelf about a foot down so they could just reach down and grab him. And I wasn't overly happy with that.
Suspension of disbelief, everybody. Yeah. I mean, you're not happy that he didn't quite make it or he tried to do that. I was just generally thinking, if that was me, and we'd left the ice samples on the other side of the ridge, you know, I would have gone, never mind, there's plenty more ice on this side where we are. I don't know. Is it Pacific? Is that, like, if we didn't have those, is it the end of the world? I mean, it's just results of what's happened.
I mean, technically, the ice shelf was then breaking away, so they'll make their way to land eventually.
Yeah, I mean...
We'll get them at the other side.
You could have just got on a boat or something like that and just waited until it thawed out the size of a Calippo and just and just got a little net over the side of the thing and scooped it up.
Putting himself in unnecessary danger for things that probably... didn't need it.
No, I didn't.
So a mixed opening to this film, but then we get, well, again, we're straight into the action, I suppose, as actiony as this can be discussing weather. As the previous two films we've reviewed, it doesn't take long. There's a fair bit of build up.
Quite quick.
We're sort of exploring quite quickly the strange weather in the sense that we go to a UN conference on global warming.
Yeah.
And it's in Delhi, and it's snowing, which is, I mean, I've never been.
I find that really, really odd that the conversations that go on ahead. Isn't it? There's a guy from, I assume he's from Saudi Arabia. I mean, I'm going to get absolutely scorned for this, but like he's not. I do
believe he was.
He represents that kind of. He's clearly an oil baron, isn't it? You know, he's in charge of the oil and the bad things that are going in the atmosphere. And Dennis Quaid represents this scientist trying to convince everybody. And then you've got a vice president, haven't you? That in having it, he's balancing the books. How much is this going to cost?
Yeah.
What is this? And now you're telling us, but we probably think it probably won't happen for ages. I've got to be honest with you. If we're holding a summit in India and it's snowing outside, I'd say we probably need to get our backsides into gear, don't we? Like,
something is not normal.
Something's not normal. And I think you'd have to be like, well, I don't think there's anything too much going on here. It's snowing in India.
I think we sort of can guess that is not a regular occurrence.
No.
And therefore something is probably questionable going on. But either way, like you said, that everyone's complaining or sort of got an issue with it. At some point, Ian Holm
turns up.
Bilbo Baggins himself turns up.
Fantastic actor. Love him. Ash himself from Alien, yeah.
Professor Rapson. And he sort of forms a bit of a friendship. And then we skip, we're then going back to, we're going up to Scotland then, where it does snow.
Can we just say... Dennis Quaid, he's playing Jack, isn't he? His hat. Okay, have you noticed when he comes out of the conference He's wearing what can only be described as a 1920s hat.
I didn't look at his hat.
Yeah, he's wearing this most out-of-place hat I've ever seen in my life. It's like... Sorry, I'm all the way through this. I'm going to be picking out fashion. I've decided.
He's now the fashion expert of this podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, we return to the Headland Research Centre in Scotland, which is where Professor Rapson, I should say, in Home works. We meet his two colleagues, and again we hit the cliche that Roland Emmerich did in Independence Day, our first podcast. The scientists aboard. One of them's asleep, the other one's watching football. He wakes up and there's a beeping noise going on. Looks at the monitor, and there's as they would say in America, a buoy that is registering a 13-degree drop in temperature.
Yeah.
Which is unusual, but none of the others in the area sort of showing it, so they just sort of dismiss it initially. But then we're sort of chopping and changing again. It's sort of moving on quite quickly here. We're here, there, and everywhere. We've been to Delhi, we've been to Scotland.
Tokyo, isn't
we're now going to Tokyo, and a policeman is talking to
policeman
people.
Is literally knocked out by a hailstone.
I don't even think he's just knocked out.
He is literally he strikes him on the head, and everybody just stares.
It is that sort of. It's a really fun scene. I mean, as a kid watching this, I absolutely loved it, and this was like the scene of like, this is really good. This is not normal. And then the next one just lands right on the top of his cranium, and I'm either knocked out or probably dead.
Yeah.
And then they all start pouring down these huge hailstones. There's a woman in a window who, for some reason, is leaning out and gets wiped out. And then there's that poor businessman who tries to make a run for cover. And
he had a couple of lines. He drops his Nokia, then he 3210 or whatever it is. Yeah,
that's probably still working.
Yeah, that's probably still going, isn't it? It's still talking, isn't it?
Still on set.
He's dead, but that's still going.
That
still
was
picking up
fine.
The game of Snake on it, maybe, or something like that. It's still unfinished.
So we're sort of getting a picture that the weather events across the world are weird, and we do the same in the next scene. So we start to meet the rest of Jack's family. He's in his quite fancy home on his own, and then his wife Lucy, played by Stella Ward, who's a doctor in a hospital. And
she's a doctor. That's going to come important later on, isn't it?
It does, yeah. And then he's got his son Sam, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. We sort of meet them, and in the background the TV's playing, saying there's hurricanes going on. So there's a lot of very unsubtle hints that the weather is not normal.
So yeah, weather is starting to play up a little bit, but we're not really sort of quite sure what the chaos is. And the Sam is
he's off to New York for some sort of school competition that he's signed up for.
Some sort of history quiz. I don't know.
Yes.
Are they going there on their own?
Well, he's meant to be. I think he's about 17 in this, isn't he?
Right.
So
okay.
I don't know how the school system works. I'm guessing
just
that's
do they just
high school, sixth form? I don't know what they have.
Yeah, I mean,
college.
I suppose they would be in high school, wouldn't they? They would leave high school until they're 18. So,
I mean, they're put on a plane with no sign of any teachers in.
No, there's no
anywhere.
No supervision whatsoever. Which you could argue that 17, 18 is probably fine, but like they just sort of sent away like across the country on a plane, and they're kind of told to turn up at this and that's a very big difference between American and British people. Because if you'd sent me at 17 to go, I don't know, anywhere like to London to go on a school trip completely unsupervised, I probably wouldn't have gone to the quiz. I'd probably end up at the Rose and Crown pub or something like that, and I probably wouldn't have done it, So hats off to them for being really good students and
doing as they're told.
And doing as they're told, and they do.
They do. I mean, they sort of. They're on the way on the plane, aren't they? It's two friends, Laura and Brian, who are played by Emma Rossum and R.J. Smith, and they have some bad turbulence, to say the least.
They do. They get a little first, an early sort of warning, don't they, that things are not good. He doesn't like flying, does he? Sam?
No, Sam doesn't like flying, but it's okay because Brian sort of reassures him, don't worry, there's like a 1 in a billion chance of a plane being brought down by turbulence, which again. Gets referenced a bit later on.
But if you see, I don't know if you remember in it, again, I'm going to keep picking these things out, but how many peanuts he's eating? There is an exhausted amount of peanuts he's got on his tray. Because he's like really nervous at flying, isn't he? So I think there's nothing better than just eating lots of peanuts if you're a little bit worried about flying.
He picks out some weird things in this film.
I will. I've spotted so much in this, it's phenomenal. And he's got like 18 packets of peanuts. I'm sure they only give you 2. I can't...
I only got 1.
I asked for a third packet and I didn't get one, and I was on a transatlantic flight. I was on there for 9 hours.
My rations were a pack of pretzels, which had about 3 pretzels in.
Yeah. They said, no, I had to wait until a fab lolly come around later on,
at least you got lollies.
Well, I know, yeah. So, yeah.
And sort of in amongst all of that, we go back to Scotland. There's sort of various different stories going on at the same time. You go back to Scotland with Bilbo Baggins and his team.
Bilbo Baggins.
And they sort of, they register a second buoy with another 13-degree drop, and they sort of discuss it, and they say, well, what are the chances of two of them going off? Because initially, Adrian Lester's like, oh, we had that the other day, it's just a malfunction.
The old classic, that'll never happen.
Just off the coast of America, and he went, oh, this one's off Greenland. You start to realise, oh, is it all kicking off?
Yeah.
And again, there's just more and more quite obvious clues that stuff's going wrong, because we're now back in New York, and Sam and his friends are there, and there's that mass bird migration. We're talking millions all of the birds in the world are over New York right now, and they're all flying away.
Our director of this is doing what he does well, isn't he?
He's very good at this.
He's very much, he's giving us all the signals, and he's giving us some great little bits of imagery. Yeah, I do like the birds, and then there's the animals in there, they're all just... in
the zoo, they're all going crazy.
The zoo, and there's some sort of dog pound or something like that, isn't there? And wolves, and they're all going nuts, aren't they? Because the birds, I mean, they've got the right idea, let's be honest. They've just gone,
get away.
Flying south for the winter has never looked so great, has it?
Turns out it might be a permanent feature.
Yeah. So they come out, I think they come out of the... Do they come out of the... They're with another guy. There's another lad
they've picked up this dude called JD.
Is he in a different team?
He's in a different team, a different school. His name's JD.
Yeah.
In amongst all of this, the weather's still kicking off. Professor Rapson, Ian Holm, Bilbo Baggins, whatever you want to call him, he phones Jack to say, I think your predictions are happening now. And that's when everyone's like, oh, this is not good because we're not ready for this. This is so much worse than we thought. We've got tornadoes in California. There's some really cool shots. There's multiple tornadoes.
I quite like the tornado scene in it, actually. That's right out of Twister, isn't it? And
it's properly out of Twister.
It is a bit cheesy, but
but
we're introduced to so many characters in such a short space of time.
Well, yeah, because we got the weather dude who's meant to be watching the weather, but he's having relations with someone.
Yeah, we don't know who they are, but they've got full lines, haven't they? They've got like
full lines.
Whole part. And isn't he something to do with the weather station? Isn't he?
He's something to do with the weather station because he has to call his boss.
Yeah,
because someone's ringing him or whatever. You meet the cleaner who's just cleaning.
Yeah, he's just right. I have a thing with the cleaner. Wow, I mean. Have you seen it? He's got those little headphones on there with a little aerial. What? People stopped wearing those in like 1986, like where you could tune a radio in.
Maybe he likes retro. Old school.
Yeah. Really? Was an iPod around by that time? Or...
I don't know.
Or digital?
I was a child.
Surely...
I can't remember
this. That just... I was blown away by that. That is really old technology, But there you go. He's got a reason to be there, hasn't he? We're going to find out in a minute.
Yeah. And I mean, this poor dude, whose relations have been interrupted by the bad weather, are sort of seeing, oh my god, there's tornadoes going on outside, and I've not been watching the weather. He phones his boss, who's been, telling him.
Oh, his boss is down on the ground zero.
Oh, and he's like, boss, you're on TV, and then he gets squashed, doesn't he, by the bus?
But he hangs around, and he's in a car, and then. Isn't there some reporters as well? We get
there's a reporter.
There's a reporter in a helicopter. Then there's who says the Hollywood sign has gone. It's been destroyed. Look, and then
there's two tornadoes joining together.
Yeah,
and then there's that one reporting in the street, and then the sign is just flying down the street. This huge metal sign, and the cameraman, you just see him sort of point at it. Yeah. And then there's just this. This slang
scoops him up, doesn't it?
There goes the reporter.
Yeah. And his cameraman doesn't literally like nothing.
He just sort of points at it and then he's like, oh. Well, anyway.
Yeah, he's gone. And people are getting wiped out, aren't they? Like you say, like the owner of it there.
And then the whole building starts to shake and the cleaner's like, what's going on? And then the building's plunged into darkness. And I really did like this
shot. It's not a bad little number, is it? Yeah.
And then the cleaner sort of looks down, takes his headphones off, I think, and there's just a beam of light from under the door where the weatherman and his girlfriend were, and he goes over there and opens the door, and that half of the building is gone. And the scientists are discussing it, and amongst all these sort of scenes of absolute carnage, the scientists are discussing it, trying to figure out what's going on. People are arguing, discussing whether or not it's the sun and sun rays, whatever that causing the problem. And
isn't there? There's a thing of. They're all together, and they're clearly all the people from all the big organisations, aren't they?
Oh, NOAA, NASA.
They just have an open forum, didn't they? Where it's just an open room where they go, and what does NASA have to say about it? And this woman just goes, there's nothing wrong with the sun.
The sun's fine, Gary. What are you on about?
Yeah, what's the sun? There's no problem with the sun. Like NASA are only Earth's got nothing to do with us. we're in charge of all the other planets out there.
That is somebody else's
Jupiter,
problem.
Mars, they're fine. They're absolutely fine.
Don't know what
Weather's
you worry
great.
about.
So nothing to do with us. We're fine.
It's just that sort of that general confusion they have, and it takes that one sort of calm mind, which is Jack, to come in and go, "Oh, I told you all about this. This is a climate shift."
There's still a lot of life that's just sort of going on normally, isn't it? That's quite untouched.
Well, it's like the weather's bad. and everyone's like,
Washington seems to be kind of fine. Bear in mind
Untouched.
how close that is to where everything else is. Surely they'd be having the same weather as what everything else was. But
it's
they
raining
seem
a
to
lot.
be-
We'll carry on.
I think they do show. They show the lightning, didn't they, through the windows and stuff when they're talking. And when
And despite all of this, the vice president still doesn't want to hear any of
he
it.
ain't having it.
He's not interested in the slightest. I mean,
No.
they sort of get this hurricane expert on board, and her character is Janet Tokada, played by Tamlin Tomita. And she sort of joins Jack's little crew, him, Jason, and Frank, sort of try and get this all figured out. And obviously he's got his boss as well, called Tom.
But I love that he's Dennis Quaid's character Jack is wants a meeting, doesn't he, with the vice president, and he walks off. And I've never seen sort of meetings done in the foyer,
Whilst on the move.
Whilst on the move, before we've even gone through the metal detector, and he's handing him what I can only describe as, if somebody asked me to put a weather report together, that's probably about how many pages I would come up with, which is about 4. I would assume that, bearing in mind that the end of the world is probably pending and millions of lives are going to be killed, some sort of bigger dossier probably might have been a bit better with maybe some sort of PowerPoint presentation maybe or something. I don't know. But yeah, and he dismisses it, doesn't he? He's not having it. It's like, well, I thought you said this was going to take years.
Yeah,
now you're telling me this is going to be happening literally days.
Yeah. So he's not really overly convinced, and
No.
It's still just going wrong. So I mean, I think we returned back to Scotland with 3 RAF search and rescue helicopters, and this I did really like this scene. I do really
It
enjoy
sets
this.
us up for what's to come, doesn't it?
It does.
And
It
gives
does.
us the first time the full power of the weather.
Because we sort of have an idea. We've seen the tornadoes. We sort of know what they can do. But now we see. So basically, the principle is that there's these 3 storm cells sort of across the northern hemisphere. And in the centre of the cell, the science is that it's dragging down supercooled air from one of the layers of
There's
the
a lot to
atmosphere.
take on board here, isn't there?
There is a lot to take
There's a
on.
lot. I've got to be honest, our first podcast with Independence Day, aliens turned up and they blew stuff up. The end.
This is a bit
I
more-
feel like I'm back at school. I feel like I should have really thought harder when I was doing my GCSE geography.
Learning about the weather.
Learning about the weather, yeah. Now, I feel a little bit unprepared going into this film.
Yeah, and they sort of try and explain it to us, and I can't remember exactly what layer of the atmosphere that drags the supercooled air down, but basically it was some insane temperature below 0, so things just instantly freeze, and these helicopters are flying along, their fuel lines freeze.
Things are getting cold.
Things are getting cold, and one by one their helicopters crash because their fuel lines freeze, the helicopters essentially freeze. You see the pilots sort of trying to fly as the windscreens freeze up.
The gearbox on the rotor system, doesn't it, seizes up, doesn't it, and goes it just completely stops, doesn't it? And then they just drop out of the sky.
And yeah, then the last one crashes, and the sort of surviving crew member opens the door, and as he sort of steps out, he just sort of freezes, in a couple of
Instantly.
seconds.
Yeah.
It was... I mean, when I was younger watching that, I was like, oh, that is horrendous.
I don't know if you noticed, but I always thought it happened when I say instantaneous, I thought it was he pees out the door and he's literally a second.
He sort of slowly
There's
moves,
a bit
doesn't
of it, and he's still slightly moving. There is quite a lot of... There's quite a lot of thought gone into that, of what would a frozen man look like who's been deep frozen in literally within seconds,
Yeah, because it's sort of... It is, in a way, instantaneous, but it is slow because it's not just a snap and you're frozen. It's you freeze very, very quickly, but enough for him probably to have realised what was going on.
Ugh.
Really quite grim.
Quite gruesome, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty horrible. It's a pretty nasty way.
It's a bad, yeah. I mean, it's all over, isn't it? Though,
for him, his problems are solved.
Yeah, chilly. Anyway,
and then even then, still, despite all this weather, New York is now flooded. Well, Manhattan's now flooding. They're stranded there. They're trying to get through Manhattan in the flooded, streets. Laura ends up cutting her leg on a car. That becomes relevant.
I quite like that whole bit, actually. I'm not going to poo-poo this all the way through, but I did like they're wading through the water, aren't they? And it's quite relentless, isn't it? And you can feel it building really quickly. Like the level of the water is rising. I think some people are running out of the subway, aren't they? And it's like there's cops trying to pull people out, and people are like clambering out of the subway, like quick. And you get this kind of, it's just moving along nicely with our main characters. We've got a guy with a dog as well, haven't we? We've got someone who's previously been told he can't come into the library with his dog. So we're starting to build up a bit of a character roster, aren't we, of people who we're going to probably see a little bit later. Yeah, I think they're wading through what it looks very real. It must have been done real, mustn't it? I look like they're wading through what there must have been like a studio and a thing.
Yeah,
you know, I imagine that was quite a miserable kind of acting, kind of,
or really fun. Like depends on how adventurous. Yeah, that must have been like epic.
And there's lots of people being involved. There's lots of extras, and you can see it. And I never felt, bearing in mind this is such a probably CGI heavy film, I felt all those bits were very grounded and very real. I suppose it's because later on we're going to get to the big scenes, and that's when we're going to sort of, wide shot out, aren't we?
Yeah,
and
CGI realm.
There's big stuff going on here, and we're doing it. So so they're making their way. There's a woman, isn't there, who can't speak the language, and that's the sort of link,
she's stuck
isn't it?
in a taxi.
And then they break the window and they get her out. So there's a little thing going on there, and they're all trying to get to the, like, really, I think at that point, just get out of the rain, innit? It's
get
just
inside.
And then it comes along quicker than I thought it did. I thought there's a longer build-up, but we get that swell, don't we, of water. That's coming from the Atlantic, and it's swamped the Statue of Liberty, though his head is poking out, isn't it? And you go, oh, there's some bad stuff coming in there. This isn't good. They make their way, but then the water kind of recedes, doesn't it? By the time it doesn't quite, they go upstairs, don't they, in the library?
They've gone upstairs and they're safe in sort of upper levels, but he goes down to use the telephone, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's going to phone Dad, isn't he?
He phones Dad, gets some advice, and then the water sort of slowly rises. The telephones are no longer usable. But he gets some advice, and his dad basically says, "Do not go outside. You will be killed. Stay indoors."
And he's coming for him, isn't he?
Which he says,
I kind of like, because I think if I was Dad, sack everything else off. The rest of the world's gone to rat shit.
Just save what I can of it.
I'm going to go and save my son. I am. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah.
We get this quite eerie scene then. Sort of everyone's sort of still stuck in the library, and then just this weird noise sort of envelopes the area. And equally as an audience, you're sort of there. I remember as a kid watching this for the first time going, what is that noise? And it's just this massive ship.
It's just an oil tanker, isn't it, or something?
Something like some sort of large Russian ship.
Massive
just
ship.
Comes just floating by the library.
Wading in through New York.
The ship sort of, through luck I assume, has managed to sail through all the buildings of New York on the wave. Where are the crew?
That's a good point, yeah. Because did they just get tipped out or something like that? Did it go upside down and then come back?
They all stood outside at the time.
That's a good point.
Where are the crew?
There's no crew.
Because we go on the ship later on, and there's nobody there. Did they bail out?
Yeah.
Where did they go?
If you were cruising through New York, you'd have to go out on board on top, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And go, I need to have a look at this.
I mean, it's a lot of luck that ship without a crew on board has sailed down the narrow streets of New York.
Can we reverse? I mean, we came in. Like a car, when you get in somewhere, you can always get out, can't you?
Yeah, I know they get wedged on a bus, but I'm pretty sure they could have got
back this bad boy out of here, and we can make our way back to where we need to get to.
Watching it for this, I was like, where are the crew?
Provisions on, and in a boat, there's plenty of provisions, isn't there? There's always more than what there is for the journey, so they probably looked after him. He could have looked after himself for about a week, Weird. How weird, yeah, I never clocked that one, no.
But then we go from that sort of note up to a bit more misery. We go and join Bilbo Baggins and his team again.
It's not getting good for them, is it? They're not having a good time.
Well, they sort of realise that the storm cell is approaching Scotland, where they are, and they realise that, well, they're not going to make it. They know for a while they're not going to make it, and so they just decide to crack out the whiskey and... It's like
the director and the writers have turned around and gone, well, we'll do the British side of things, and what we'll do is we'll do the good old British upper lip, and that we drink tea and we go, well, boys, it's been
a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. It's been it's an honour serving for you, and we'll just sit here while everything burns around us, or we slowly die, and that's probably where that comes from. And so that's the last we see of them, isn't it?
We never come back to them.
We don't come
Never
back to them.
address
They don't even get a mention or anything, do they? That's it. Finished. All done, dusted.
Dead.
So
Frozen.
we're realising now that things are serious, aren't they? That the Northern Hemisphere is not having it good at the moment. And we return to New York, didn't we? We keep coming back to New York. And
Yeah, but this time the water outside is frozen over.
so we've got
obviously
snow now, we've got frozen water, isn't it? The temperature is dropping rapidly.
they realise that people are out walking on the snow. And then there's that sort of big sort of hoo-ha in the library where the police officer is sort of, trying to sort of
Yeah,
save
he's sort of
everyone. He's
taking
like,
charge
we
and-
need to get out of it, we need to go south.
Which I always thought when I watched it the first time, I thought, what a stupid idea is that? But then, again, having a deep delve back into this and revisit it, you go, you probably would take that chance because
It's bad where you
don't
are, so
actually
you
know
want
what's going on, do you?
No, they've had no guidance
They've
whatsoever.
got no food, hardly any heat.
And Sam tries to tell them, doesn't he? He
Yeah.
sort of says, look, my dad's climbed on. He said, if you go outside, you're going to die. But not many people listen to this, 17-year-old kid.
I've got to be honest with you. If someone said my dad's a climatologist, right, and he
What's
knows
that?
what's going on, I'd probably go,
Thanks for the warning.
that's lovely, mate, but he's not here. So I'm going to do my own thing, and then I'll probably be frozen.
So I think most of them then obviously leave. And like you said, ultimately they all end up freezing.
Yeah, there's a little moment under a bridge, isn't there,
Well, two
where
of them.
I think two of them sit there going, "We should have stayed in the library."
Yeah.
Just walk back, mate. Don't have to go. No one's in charge of you. We should have gone to the library. Just walk back. Just go back, mate. It's fine. If you think it was a bad idea and you would have done better in the library, then go back.
Go.
No, we're going to carry on walking. We're going to follow the police officer.
And the police officer then goes to check on the other two people who are sort of still
Oh, yeah,
laid
they've
down
given up,
and-
haven't they?
Well, they're already dead.
They're all dead.
They're frozen.
Yeah, they just had a little lie down, didn't they? And
Didn't
they
wake
went,
up.
They went, sod it. Dead of dead. I won't walk any further. Yeah. So there you go.
All very
It's not very cheerful, is it? It's starting getting quite
happy
depressing.
film.
Yeah.
But then we actually go to Mexico. We go to the Mexican border, don't we? We got the political element of this film. But basically, then the Mexican authorities close the border to stop them coming through. So then the American citizens are cutting a hole in the fence and escaping
it's a
across
role
the river.
reversal kind of thing,
That's how
isn't it?
they-
Where you
it's
go,
how they
you want to come
portray
in now, do you? You want to come into our country now, do
And
you?
so essentially,
Yeah.
they force the president of the US to sort of say, "I'll forgive all of Latin American debt if you let us across."
Yeah.
Which is agreed.
Yeah, I don't think it would work like that, would it? I think they just shut their borders and go, you ain't coming in.
Equally,
but
I
we'd
think-
like some money, though, if you want to come in.
But then equally, I think if it was the end of the world sort of thing, I think the Mexican government would have just gone, "Come on."
I don't think any wall would retain anyone. There's probably more than enough people with oxyacetylene welding kits and, and general tools to take a fence down. And you've got to remember that it's a collaborative. There'd probably be border guards who go, yeah, go for it, mate. I'll help you take it down. Yeah.
Yeah, the world is ending. Get yourselves into Mexico.
Yeah,
come and join us.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they do.
Yeah, that you would just literally open the gates when you just go, just come in, mate. It's all gone out the window anyway.
Not everyone's safe at the moment because
No.
now we do obviously, like you mentioned earlier, we go back to Dr. Lucy Hall, Jack's wife. She works in a hospital. There's a very sick kid there, and he can only be moved in an ambulance. And for whatever reason, the ambulance service have decided to panic, and they're not going to get Peter, and their ambulance is long gone without
No.
Peter. So Lucy sort of has to stay behind with him, really. Well, she chooses to, because there is a policeman outside with a snowplow, and her colleague says, "Look, just come with us," and she declines, because Peter can only be moved in an ambulance.
Yeah, because he's got all this. He's quite ill.
He's
isn't
very
he?
ill.
And he's got a lot of things problem. He's got all this kit that's got to come with it, and then he's probably got to stay. Power's got to stay on, hasn't it, and everything. So there's a lot of. It's not just as simple as just jump in the snowplow. Don't just drop the bucket down at the door and on your hop, son. Off we go. You'll enjoy this. It's a little bit of a ride, and let's go to the next hospital.
Yes.
Hopefully, we don't freeze to death on the way in.
It is a bit.
However, I will point it out though. Where's mum and dad?
No, they couldn't get hold of them, could they?
Oh no, they just didn't.
No,
couldn't be
no,
asked to turn up.
they kept.
Like, brilliant.
Well, potentially, yeah.
Yeah, no, my sixth son.
He's dying anyway.
Dying anyway. Stuff it. We'll go.
That's our theory to Peter's
We're off
parents.
to we're off to the Mediterranean. I don't know for a weekend.
Caribbean break.
Yeah, Caribbean break. Yeah, see you later. If he gets better, we'll come back. Yeah.
So then we return to Jack, Frank, and Jason. So they're obviously trying to go and rescue.
Yeah, they've all joined
Sam.
together, haven't they?
They have. They're not going to leave him behind.
No,
they're going to
Jack
do this
said
on
he's
his
going
own.
to go, and they're gone. You're not going on your own. We're going to come with you. Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah. And they sort of team up, but on the way they end up having a bit of a crash, don't they, into this massive wall of snow, which is peppered with cars.
And Quaid says that the famous line, "We walk from here," don't we? So
bearing in mind they're just north of Philadelphia.
Yeah, so that's quite
a long
off.
way.
That's a long way to traipse. And he said, "I've done it before," didn't he? He said, like, and they said, "What, in this amount of snow?" And not in this kind of conditions. And he'd be right, not in this condition, because nobody in the history of man has walked in these conditions.
I don't even know how far it is from Philadelphia to Manhattan, but I suspect well, I mean, they obviously take some time to get there, but it's in snow, it's not...
I'd imagine, and carting a snow thing along with you and backpack and having enough provisions in a backpack in it to do what would essentially be days of travel in it.
And it gets more unpleasant, as it turns out, because they end up walking unknowingly across the glass roof of a mall.
Yeah, but they don't know that, do you?
No, they have no idea.
He goes through the floor, doesn't he?
But the sled goes first, doesn't it? The sled goes through, and then it drags poor Frank, who's at the back of their little...
Frank's being dragged into the
He drops down, is hanging, and then Jason sort of gripping onto the glass, isn't he?
Yeah.
At the edge, while, again, Jack's pulled out his ice axe and smashed it through into the glass to hold them up.
Yeah.
Which seems counterproductive, but I suppose he didn't know the glass at the time, did he?
No, and I kind of like that idea of that, like, and you do get that. You see him as he falls down, he's hanging, and then we get like a wide shot, don't we? And it's like, it's a shopping mall. Like, it's that deep snow and compacted that a shopping mall, however stories high it is,
completely
we're
buried.
literally walking across the top of it. So anybody who is anybody has gone underneath there, isn't it? It's like a vast landscape of just ice, isn't it? And that's what we're given.
He ends up sort of cutting away the sled, but they try to rescue him, don't they? But they just realise the glass is cracking, he's not going to make it, and Frank
makes a decision of self-sacrifice. Doesn't he?
Cuts the rope.
It was weird. I felt that Frank, as the character, hadn't really been given any backstory. We didn't know very much about him, did we?
No, we just knew that he'd worked with Jack for about 20 years.
Yeah,
that was about it, really.
I would have liked to have probably seen them. They were probably doing something at some sort of barbecue or something, and it was like
maybe he had a family.
He's his best mate. They were in Nam together. I don't know, or something. Something. They should have had some sort of long-term link. I get it. He was his friend, and they're friends, but it's weird.
Could have been developed more.
Yeah. I didn't feel that we were like, he's dead, that's sad, they're sad, but moving on.
And that's literally what we do.
And we just literally move on from that scene. We just go, okay.
It's when things started going a bit downhill. There isn't obviously we lost Frank, President's dead, and now Laura's ill, because remember she cut her leg earlier on.
Didn't she? She
that's
got
now
infected.
Blood poisoning, sepsis, getting towards sepsis and that sort of thing. So they end up going to the boat, which conveniently sailed by earlier on, to try and find medication. Obviously, that doesn't become easy, does it? Because the wolves that escaped
that we mentioned way early, that I completely... I generally, until I watched this in this deep delve that we're doing now, and before that, I never linked the two. I just thought...
wolves.
I honestly just went, well, they're probably wolves, because they're probably out and about, aren't they? Or something like that. I just kind of...
Manhattan famous for its wolves running about.
I don't know. I feel really stupid now, like this. But it was just I'd never really put the two. I go, there's some animals. They're all, and then some wolves escaped. Okay, and then later on we go, they're the same wolves, aren't they? Oh right, I get it now. Right.
It's all coming together.
I'm blaming the plot device for that, not my naivety and not understanding it. But so. Yeah, on the boat, there's a bit of a running around in the cabins, isn't there? And
they managed to get
trying to get out before the dogs get them, isn't it? And
they get the medication. They need to get some food. They get a life raft, which is convenient because the other JD gets bitten in the legs. He's then injured as well. But then as they leave, they think that the one problem, the wolves, is over. But then we get the shots then with the building starting to freeze because they're entering the eye of the storm.
Oh, that comes next, doesn't it?
Super cooled weather, which I think I was trying to explain earlier, and then immediately gave up.
It's basically things are going to freeze, like our pilots, isn't it? From the RAF, who were on their way to Balmoral. They froze to death, didn't they? The same fate maybe for our heroes, isn't it, in the library? Just going back a little bit, I always think that they're burning all the books, aren't they? They're keeping the fire going, aren't they? And insulating their bodies with pages of, I don't know, Shakespeare, aren't they? I always felt that they missed a little trick with that. They did with lots of different. But I imagine they probably had a little bit of a copyright issue with what books they could use or something. I always felt that there could have been quite a long-term joke involved in there about what books you're going to put on the fire and what ones you're not going to. You know, there could have been a joke, some of the people's autobiographies or something like that. You know, that like and I felt that
What other film directors?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they could have done like little nods and winks towards other such, you know, franchises and things. And what about all these, I don't know, comic books or something like that? Oh, put them all on a fire. They're all the same. I don't know. They could have done that, couldn't they? And they're all the same thing, aren't they? They could have had some fun with it, couldn't they?
No, they did end up squeezing a little joke in there, though, didn't they? By Brian sort of saying there's a whole section on tax law down here we could burn.
Yes. So there is. Yeah.
There's that little bit to sort of make up for it.
Yeah.
But
So they say
they
could have burn all that lot. Yeah.
Could have had some fun.
And then there's a guy stroking what is the King James Bible or something like that. Something a large Bible, you know. Yeah. And
I think it's meant to be like the first book ever written or first Bible.
Oh, was it?
Like that. So I think that's why he was trying to save it.
That'd be why then. Yeah.
So probably. I mean,
so he was representing the kind of we should keep things, and
it's just trying to save a little bit of history, wasn't it?
History, not just
in case it does survive.
Hand me the book. I'm freezing cold. Yeah, yeah. We'll write more books when it's thought out.
There's probably a copy somewhere.
Yeah. So he's we get this fantastic sort of. It's kind of like a penultimate kind of shot, really, isn't it? Of like kind of the last big sort of serious stuff going on. I quite like it actually. Because the frost searches, doesn't it? Almost sort of
it chases them through the library, doesn't it?
Across the land, and like you say, you get them. I didn't really know what's going on, but all the windows are smashing, aren't they, and cracking, like you said. And then it's this, because the sun's we're in the eye of the storm, and it's like we need to get inside. And I kind of like the idea that we didn't just go inside, shut the door, and we're all right. It kept going and going and going, didn't it? And it doesn't go up the door, doesn't it? As they shut the door, and then they all walk
spreading on the walls.
It's coming down the chimney, isn't it? And they're like, "Keep the fire. You've got to keep that fire going. Otherwise, we'll never light it again." You know,
so it's like minus 200 or something degrees
like that,
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So they've got to keep that fire going.
So they've got to literally get in and around that fire, haven't they? And get in there. And I get it. And Dennis Quaid, he has his same issue as well, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. So at some point, Jason's collapsed.
He can't do it. So he's dragging him.
He's dragging him. And he drops him conveniently into a kitchen.
There's like so the shopping mall is under 50 foot of snow, but the local diner
is okay.
is all right. We can just walk in the door and still go whatever. but yeah, and he goes in, doesn't he? And it does the same thing. You get
he's burning
little cheeky scene of the Stars and Stripes flag, isn't it? Literally flapping in midair.
Oh yeah, because the wind just stops and
it just freezes, and he looks up and he knows what's coming.
But it picks up, it freezes, and it was like that is a really quite cool little shot.
That's a cool thing. He knows what's going on, doesn't he? He knows he needs to get indoors, and he gets indoors and then fires up all the propane things he can, like the oven, doesn't he? And luckily enough, manages to sort of just same thing as his son Sam, innit? They manage to just get in just in time. And just to where they need to get to, so so they've managed to survive that as well.
Which is sort of, I mean, everyone sort of survives from there on out.
Son and father are reunited, aren't they? And I think then we get this widening shot as we go across. We get which is actually on the DVD or the poster, isn't it, of the Statue of Liberty with all the eye soffits thing, isn't it? Just poking out of the snow, isn't it? Again, good imagery. Isn't it?
It is good imagery.
That poster just sells it to you, doesn't it? I would sit there and look at that and go, I want to watch that. I don't even have no idea what it's about. I've watched it and I'm still not really sure what it's about, but I want to watch that. That looks quite good, isn't it?
It draws you in, and we see all our sort of surviving characters. They're all sort of together. And they sort of get rescued with a helicopter, don't they? And they fly over New York, and they sort of realise, there's loads of survivors.
There's lots of people. You see lots of little CGI people coming out of the top of the buildings, isn't it?
And there's literally hundreds of them.
There's loads of them. They're all coming out, and you go, they managed to ride it out as well. So, and then there's a few helicopters or something. So it's obviously you can manage. And then we go to, I think we go to the president's speech, don't we? At the end.
Yes, and he's like, I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
And
not quite the Bill Pullman Independence Day. No,
it's not bad, but it's just sort of.
He basically said, we didn't do it very well here, did we? We've sort of.
But now's our
made
chance.
A mistake. Now it's time to change. Yeah, now millions have died. It's probably about right now to change our attitude towards something. If there's anything left I mean,
I mean, the whole northern hemisphere is basically an ice age.
It's an ice age, isn't it? And there's not a lot left, is there? There's only the bottom half in it that's warm. So skiing holidays all round, maybe. I don't know.
It seems to be.
yeah. I don't know. It'd be there's got to be like there's a market in it somewhere, isn't there? Probably.
Yeah.
So
There we go. That is.
I think that's it, isn't it? That's pretty much
That's us
wrapped
going
up.
through the plot.
That's the day after tomorrow.
I'm almost based on your sort of initial reaction and thoughts about this film.
Is it that obvious?
Do you have a favourite character in amongst all of that?
I don't know. Right, I'm going to go way out there. I am for my favourite character. I don't think it's any of the main cast, to be absolutely honest with you. That none of them really excited me about anything. His girlfriend, who becomes his girlfriend because they kissed, don't they? Or they quite like each other.
It does happen.
She's wearing, I don't know, was that the fashion of 2005? I don't remember it being like that. She's wearing what like a 75-year-old would wear. You know, it's like an old coat and an old woman's like sort of outfit. I thought me and my missus come from that era. I don't remember my wife wearing stuff like that. You know, when we were their age or anything like that. So. And I don't think there's some people who don't get a lot of screen time. Some people do. Obviously, Dennis Quaid is the main character, isn't he? I just think Dennis Quaid's always a discount Harrison Ford, isn't he? If he can't get Harrison Ford, he's going to be the next best to get him. So, and his mates, Frank, we already said earlier on, didn't we? Frank didn't really get a lot of screen. We didn't really get to find out, but he could have been good. I think we lack side characters and things. So I'm going to pick, I don't know his name, it's a guy who's wading through, he's like a New York tradesman, he's got a briefcase, he's wandering through the rain, he gets on the bus, doesn't he? And he goes, opens up, doesn't he? And he goes, I'll give you $100, doesn't he? He goes, I'll give you $100 to put it back in service. I won't have it at all. That's his only line in it, and I went, brilliant, I love it, for the absolute audacity in such a thing to walk in there and try and
So your favourite
pay
character?
off.
I've looked it up.
You've looked him up.
This is Rick Hoffman playing New York businessman on bus.
New York businessman on bus. So
bracket uncredited, close bracket.
He was uncredited.
That is the IMDb credit.
So he didn't even probably get credited on the rolling credits. Then did he? No. It's a shame. He looks like a character actor. He looks very distinctive. That's why I remembered him. But yeah, so there you go. It's a poor choice, but there you go. What about yourself?
I think my favourite, again, is actually none of the main characters at all. It is Luther, who is the homeless dude with the dog.
Yeah.
Played by Glenn Plummer. And I think I just liked him because he was, in a way, it sort of highlights the problem of people's sort of dismissiveness of him because he's homeless and they don't want to let him in the library and that sort of thing. And he keeps trying, and it's also just some of his little lines are just a bit like, oh, that's quite funny. I mean, I remember Laura's trouser, they see the infection in her leg, and he just goes, oh, I've seen that before, that gets really bad. And it was just like, what an excellent contribution. Or when they're looking for food, and he's like,
that's his medical opinion.
His medical opinion.
Yeah, he's probably going to die.
Yeah. I think I just sort of liked him because of that. He was just a fun little character, and yeah, and I was quite glad to see him make it, really. So, you're going to ask me about my favourite part or favourite scene. Is it the end credits?
It's not that bad.
Okay.
I like the wave scene. I like the whole wave, the swell of the wave as it hits New York City. It's not so much just the big... I mean, there's a big CGI, isn't there, as it goes past the Statue of Liberty and it goes in, and there is the chaos, but it's specifically the scene where we actually get down to the library where they're panicking. That's done quite well, I think. There is a sense of urgency. There is it. When I watched it this time round, I felt that it was going to be, well, no one would believe that she would be going back to where she was going back to. But then when you look at it, you go, no, I think it sits better than I remember it does. And you go, actually, for how audacious and crazy it is, a massive wave. How would you not notice a massive wave come crashing through? And it's only making its way between two buildings, you know, it's not making its way from the sides. It is now, when you look at it, if you look carefully, there's a great panning shot. And it must have been done in a massive studio where they pan up towards the steps of the main entrance, and you see everyone climbing over the cars and climbing over there. There's water running down the steps, and it looks very real, and it probably mostly is with a bit of CGI. I like that bit. I thought that was good. I enjoyed that bit.
I think my favourite always has been, and probably always will be, the helicopters as they freeze.
Yeah.
I think it was just so.
You liked that, didn't you? Yeah.
I think it was just because all the other sort of weather stuff, we know of this. We know of tornadoes, we know of cold weather and that snow and so on and so forth. And I think just seeing that was like so out of this world. It's like, oh, well, this is something we've not encountered before. Oh my goodness gracious me. That shouldn't be happening. And I think it was just the slowness of it, of the sort of the crew looking up as they see the pipes in the helicopter freezing over and sort of probably realising we're in a spot of bother here, lads. And then just as he gets out of the helicopter, just particularly as I grew up with this sort of film, just seeing that was just like, this is mind-blowing. Like, that is horrendous, but equally very nicely done.
It's a good little addition, isn't it? Yeah. It sets us up for what we're probably going to get later on, isn't it?
It does, yeah.
You know, because I think it does tantalise you that you sit and you think, oh, when are we going to get that? You know, when is that going to happen? Is it going to happen to our heroes, or what's the score to it? So, yeah, you can't beat that. That's quite good, yeah. So
well, we'll move on to the important bit then. The flame rating.
Flame. I'm struggling to light the lighter of the podcast. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Good Lord, I'm like a man with two rocks trying to cast a spark.
But why?
It's just I want to like it, but I just find there's just so many jarring things that take me out of it. That this I wouldn't go to. I went to it once because you're intrigued. When you mentioned about the poster, it's enticing. You want to know what it's about. I never went to cinema to see this one, but I remember wanting to watch it. So it's definitely got all those kind of, it draws you in. It's got enough in it to keep you occupied and keep you guessing and going that execution. And I just think there's only so much you can do with weather. So it's got its glowing qualities. What flames would I give it? It's a push for a 2, I tell you. It really is. I was going to give it a 1.
A 1?
I was going to give it a 1. Yeah, it's just flickering in the distance, yeah. And that, because there is so much that like jars me on it, but I don't think you get as many films like that nowadays. So
no, not to this sort of scale.
No, cool. So what about yourself, Tom, then? Are you going to go against mine?
I am, and mine
I've given a generous 2.
Mine is just about scraping into a 4, purely on entertainment value.
A 4.
Because I'm not going to deny it's not the best quality film in the world, but I sort of like to look at things as an entertainment value.
Right.
And if I'm sat there watching a film, do I enjoy it? Would I watch it again? Yes. Is it on TV? Yeah, I'm going to watch it because it's on, that sort of thing. And did I enjoy watching it for this podcast? Yes, I did.
You did enjoy it.
I mean, is it cheesy? Yes, absolutely. But I think there's got the entertainment quality. It's not. I'd sort of like, if you compared it to our previous 4 of Independence Day, it's not a high 4 like that, but I think it's still better than War of the Worlds, which was a 3, so that's why I sort of have to put it there.
Yeah.
I mean, that averages out at a 3, doesn't it? So
we've probably hit somewhere near there. They're probably slightly on par with our previous War of the Worlds, isn't it? So there you go. So that was The Day After Tomorrow. That was. Thank you, Tom, for letting me revisit that.
You're very welcome.
Awesome, thank you.
But I mean, that means now it's your turn to assign me with something.
Well, it is
for our final
so
end of the world in this.
This is the kind of end of our season of things and destruction and apocalypse, isn't it?
There will be a new theme.
It will be a new theme, and I thought we'll lighten the mood up a little bit, and that is. We're talking briefly lighten the mood up, as things are coming to Earth now. Not aliens, but meteorites.
It's a meteor shower.
This new one you're tracking, how big?
It's what we call a global killer. Nothing would survive, not even bacteria.
The United States government just asked us to save the world. Anybody want to say no?
You think we'll get hazard pay out of this?
Tom, I'm assigning you Armageddon. I am with Bruce Willis. He's drilling. He's the best driller there is. He's got a team of bandits that are gonna mine a meteorite. They are, and save the world. He's going to save the world.
I've actually genuinely not seen this for quite some time.
Either have I. It sat in the background where I loved it years ago. I did, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a time when there were 2 films, weren't there, that came out at the same time, wasn't there? There was Deep Impact and there was Armageddon. So it was a time of when you would bring out 2 films of similar ilk, wouldn't it?
Or like Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down.
White House Down, yeah. There's been hundreds, haven't they? Dante's Peak and Volcano, wouldn't
yes.
they? All coming out roughly the same time. It's like someone had a good idea, let's do a better one. And like true fashion, one only prevails normally, doesn't it? And one does well. And I've decided to pick Armageddon because I believe it is worthy of our time. And so that is your task for next podcast.
I look forward to that. It'd be a nice little one to revisit after who knows how many years it's been.
Interesting. Well, that's come to the end there. We're all done with weather. I think that's all. All I will say is thank you for listening, everyone out there. And until next episode, look after yourselves and stay safe. Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much for listening, and see you next time.
And remember, you can follow us on our YouTube channel with new episodes every other Monday.